Hello, and welcome back to the Vampire #1, Part 2. Now, remember, when I say Vampire #1, it's because we're going to be reading another poem called The Vampire. It's just going to be written a few years later, and we're going to be reading it after our next poem, which is The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. But this is Vampire #1, and we are now on Part 2. So if you'll remember from where we left off, Sigismund has been killing Herman. At least that's what Herman has been saying, right? Because the wife said to him, dude, what's wrong? You've been so pale. You've been sick. Specifically at midnight, every night, you start tugging and panting for breath, and you're crying out, and there's something wrong, and your eyes don't look good. You look like you're dying. What's going on, dude? And he says, honey, I'm sorry to tell you this. I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm going down myself. My buddy who died last week, I went to his funeral over at his house. He's done something to me, and it's killing me too. And worse than that, he's also taking my soul. I'll tell you one thing. I've been with my wife for 26 years, and I'd like to live with her for another at least 26 years. But one thing that I do look forward to is that I know that I'll be with her for eternity. That's the deal that we have sealed. And if somebody came to me and said, well, sorry, I'm taking her soul, she's not going to be there with you, that would really, really distress me really badly, because, you know, who am I going to hang out with in eternity if there really is an eternity? I plan on it being with you. And that's what Gertrude is saying. Wait a minute, stop, time out. Not only are they going to take you from my life, they're going to take you from my heaven as well. This can't be good. This is awful, Herman. So tell me more. So let's go. And the last stanza we read was, from the drear mansion of the tomb, from the low regions of the dead, the ghost of Sigismund doth roam, and dreadful haunts me in my bed. So he says he comes to me at night. And that's, I mean, right there. The ghost of Sigismund doth roam, and dreadful haunts me in my bed. Is Sigismund a vampire and he comes and eats him at night? Let's continue. There, vested in infernal guise, by means to me not understood, close to my side the goblin lies, and drinks away my vital blood. I mean, yeah, there you go. He says he comes to me in infernal guise. Now, guise means disguise, and infernal means like hellish kind of. So he's wearing some kind of a hellish disguise. And he says, by means to me not understood. Is he just talking about like now he has the vampire features? I don't know. But the note for that certainly is he comes to me at night and drinks my blood. That's pretty darn vampiric. He sucks from my veins the streaming life and drains the fountain of my heart. Oh, Gertrude, Gertrude, dearest wife, unutterable is my smart. In this case, when you say something smarts, it means it hurts. He says it hurts so bad, I can't even tell you how much it hurts when he comes and drinks my blood every night. He drains me of my blood every night. Wait until we read Dracula, and you're going to see that's something that Dracula does. He repeatedly goes to people at night. He drains them of their blood, and then over a certain amount of time, they end up just either dying or turning. It depends on if the vampire wants him or her to turn into one with them. When surfeited, and that means full, the goblin dire, with banqueted by suckled gore, will to his sepulchre retire, will night invites him, until night invites him forth once more. When surfeited, when he's full, the goblin dire with banqueted by suckled gore. So he suckles the gore out of me. So basically he fills upon my blood every night. And when he's full, he goes back to his sepulcher, to his cave, wherever he is. And he gets a nice sleep. And then at night he comes back again and he drinks the blood again from me. Then will he dreadfully return, and from my veins life juices drain, while slumbering I with anguish mourn and toss with agonizing pain. It's the worst. Every night he comes and he drains me of my blood, and it hurts so much I can't stop him. I'm sleeping, but I feel it in my sleep. It hurts so bad I wake up, I'm weak. But oh, my Gertrude, dearest wife, the keenest pangs hath last remained. When dead, I too shall seek thy life. Thy blood by Herman shall be drained. Listen to that. Thy blood by Herman shall be drained. Is a nice couple. He says, honey, we got another problem here, because once I'm dead, I'm going to start coming in and drinking your blood. I'm going to drain you of your blood. So he does warn her. But to avoid this horrid fate, soon as I'm dead and laid in the earth, have through my corpse a javelin straight. This shall prevent my coming forth. Says, but there's a way to stop me from killing you. I'm toast already. But after I'm dead, make sure you stick a javelin through my corpse into the coffin, into the ground, and that will keep me from leaving. You are going to find, ladies and gentlemen, that in our research, when we do how to stop a vampire or how to become or not become or stop somebody from being a vampire, in all these researches, you're going to see some of the things that people did. And I think I told you this in one of the poems that we were reading the other day, that it's possible for people to be turned after they're even dead, supposedly in vampire lore. So one thing that people would do is they would stake their dead friend, their dead loved ones after they were dead. So if your wife died, you would put her in a coffin, but you would stake her through the heart and into the ground, so that if she did turn into a vampire afterwards, she would be stuck there and she wouldn't be able to leave. Right. So that's what he's saying. Do that to me. Watch with me this last sad night. Watch in your chamber here alone, but carefully conceal the light until you hear my parting groan. So he says, tonight, act like a spy and hang out in the corner of the dark room and keep a light, but keep it hidden, right? And then when you hear my parting groan, when you hear me dying, expose the light. Then at what time the vesper bell of yonder convent shall be tolled. That peal shall ring my passing knell, and Herman's body shall be cold. So when you hear the tolling of the bell, probably be around midnight, that's when he'll be getting me. That's when I'll be dying, because tonight's my last night. Shine that light on him. Listen. Then, and just then, thy lamp make bare. The staring ray, the bursting light shall from my side the goblin scare, and show him visible to sight. So expose him into the light when you hear the bells. So the livelong night poor Gertrude sat, watched by her sleeping, dying lord. The livelong night she mourned his fate, the object whom her soul adored. So she watches. Then at what time the vesper bell of yonder convent sadly tolled, then was pealed his passing knell. The hapless Herman, he was cold. So at midnight he does go cold, just like he said he would. Just at that moment, Gertrude drew from beneath her cloak the hidden light, when dreadful she beholds in view the shade of Sigismund. Sad sight. So she signs the light, and she actually sees the shade of Sigismund, means the ghost of Sigismund, means she sees Sigismund standing there, the dead dude. Indignant rolled his ireful eye. So he's angry. He's like, what? You're interrupting my happy meal here? That gleamed with wild, horrific stare, and fixed a moment with surprise, beheld aghast the enlightening glare. He's like, that's too bright. His jaws, cadaverous, were besmeared with clotted carnage over and over. So you had Herman's blood all over his mouth and his jaws, and all his horrid whole appeared distent and filled with human gore. Have you guys ever seen, like on the Nature Channel, like a snake eats something really much bigger than it's supposed to, and you see this giant thing in its stomach moving down? That's like that poor little raccoon or whatever, or the squirrel that it just ate. Well, she just said, and fixed him, and all his horrid whole appeared distent and filled with human gore. So his body, you can see his stomach is full of my husband's blood and gore. You can tell how much he just feasted on my husband. And plus, he's all covered in his blood all over his face and hands. With hideous scowl, the specter fled. She shrieked aloud, then swooned away. The hapless Herman in his bed, all pale, a lifeless body lay. So the vampire Sigismund flees, angry as heck. He's like, you interrupted my meal, and he jets. She, after seeing what she saw, faints. And of course, Herman is still lying dead in the bed. Next day in council 'twas decreed, urged at the instance of the state, that shuddering nature should be freed from pests like these before it was too late. So the next day they had a towns meeting, and they all decided, well, we better do something, or, Sigismund and Herman are just going to keep going around and eating our town, and we're all going to be dead. I don't understand why Herman didn't tell his wife 4 or 5 days ago, gotten the town involved, and maybe then they could have helped him. But they didn't. They waited for the last minute. So now the town is involved. The choir then burst the funeral dome where Sigismund was lately laid, and found him, though within the tomb, still warm as life and undecayed. So they break into his tomb, into his coffin. They open it up during the daylight hours, of course, because at night he's going to be out feasting on people. And what do they find in his corpse? Not the decaying body of Sigismund. He's now a couple of weeks dead. He should be starting to decay. No, he's totally fine. still warm as life and undecayed. Now, he's not alive, but when they're talking about the warmth, I think they're talking about the blood that he had eaten of Herman. With blood, his visage was distained, so there's blood all over his face. Ensanguined were his frightful eyes. Each sign of former life remains, save that all motionless he lies. So he's like in his he's passed out during the day. Vampires go into that kind of comatose state during the day where they really can't. I mean, it depends on the vampire legend. That's actually kind of cool. We need to talk about this. That since all these different authors are all experimenting and have experimented with the vampire legend, they can kind of do what they want. My vampires can fly. My vampires sparkle in the sun. This vampire story has it, and most do, that during the day they lay in their sleep and they can't really move. You can do what you want. If you open up a coffin and you find them in there during daylight hours, you can do what you want to its body because it can't move, right? So with blood his visage, exsanguined were his frightful eyes. Each time of former life remains, save that all motionless he lies. So they open his coffin, find him in there, and he still looks like he's alive. I mean, he's motionless, but he's not decaying. The corpse of Herman they contrive to the same sepulture to take. So they bring dead Herman over here. You know, if you're going to deal with one vampire, might as well deal with two. And through both carcasses they drive, deep in the earth a sharpened stake. Now, one of the ways you can kill a vampire is to stick a wooden stake through their heart, right? So they do two things. Not only do they sharpen and stake them each through their heart, but they even get it through the ground. And again, one of the old wives' tales is, one of the old theories is, if you stake them through the ground, even if they are to wake up, they cannot move because they're stuck into the ground. So they do it to both Herman and to Sigismund. By this was finished their career. Through this no longer they can roam. From their friends have brought to fear, both quiet, keep slumbering in their tomb. And that's the end of our poem. No more worries. Now, the townspeople are like, phew, we're all good. But I'm thinking poor Gertrude is having a hard time, right? Because she lost her husband and she now knows that he's gone forever. His soul is gone forever. It's been turned to the devil. Tough story, but I enjoy it. I don't know. That's just me. Do what you know what you have to do. Please fill out your vampire story page. Is this a vampire story? 3 reasons why and 3 good quotes. Is this not a vampire story? 3 reasons why and 3 quotes to prove it. Or is this not a vampire story, but you can see how some knucklehead might think that it is because they're not, as knowledgeable in vampire lore as you are starting to be. Really excellent job. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.